Cinema used to be a destination. You'd get dressed, buy a ticket, sit in a dark room with strangers. The lights would dim, and for 2 hours, the world would disappear. But today, more people are watching movies in bed, on their phones, at 1.5x speed, while scrolling TikTok between scenes. The question isn't if cinema has changed. The question is, has it died? This is the story of the rise of streaming and the uncertain future of traditional cinema. Let's rewind. Not long ago, the theater was everything. Box office numbers weren't just stats, they were a movie's legacy. A film's worth was measured by opening weekends, sellout crowds, and awards season buzz. Studios lived or died by the theatrical window. Theaters were gatekeepers. And to be a filmmaker was to dream of seeing your name in lights. Then came Netflix. What started as a DVD rental service turned into a global streaming empire. Convenience became king. No lines, no crowds, no overpriced popcorn. And slowly, something shifted. Love what you're watching. Scan the QR to join the community. People stopped asking, what's in theaters? And started asking, what's on Netflix? Other giants followed. Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, Apple TV+, Paramount+, Peacock. The list keeps growing. In just a few years, streaming turned from an option into the default. And then, the pandemic. Theaters shut down. Streaming surged. Big-budget films skipped the box office and launched straight to your living room. The wall had already been cracking. COVID knocked it down completely. Today we live in a world where a film can win an Oscar without ever hitting theaters, where a 90-minute indie can trend worldwide next to a billion-dollar blockbuster, where the algorithm, not the theater marquee, decides what you see. But what did we lose in the shift? Because while streaming gave us access, it took something too. We lost the ritual, the community, the pause, the moment where you're all in, with no tabs open. In the theater, you give yourself over to a story. At home, it competes with your notifications, and filmmakers feel that. Because some films are meant to be felt, on a big screen with big sound, in a space where emotion echoes. But now, directors are designing films for mobile screens. Cinematography is cropped. Sound design is simplified. Stories are built to survive short attention spans, not to challenge them. Is it bad? Not always. It's just different. Because streaming has done incredible things for cinema. It's democratized access, globalized stories, elevated foreign films, indie voices, and niche genres. A story shot on a phone in Lagos can now reach viewers in London, Seoul, and Sao Paulo overnight. Streaming gave power to storytellers who were long shut out of the traditional system. But there's another side to this. In the streaming model, content is king, not the creator. Studios now prioritize quantity over quality. Algorithms decide green lights. And your film might live and die in a week, buried under new releases with no legacy. So what happens to cinema in a world obsessed with content? What happens to the experience, the art, the memory? We're seeing some answers now. Theaters aren't dead. They're evolving. Films like Oppenheimer, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Top Gun. Maverick brought people back to cinemas, not just for spectacle, but for community. Audiences are rediscovering the value of unplugging, sitting still, and being surrounded by people all gasping, laughing, and crying at the same moments. Because cinema, at its best, isn't just about watching. It's about feeling something together. And yes, streaming will stay. It should. It's changed the world for the better in many ways. But the death of traditional cinema? It's not a death. It's a reckoning. A chance to ask, what do we really want from movies? Do we want noise or do we want meaning? Do we want more or do we want better? The rise of streaming isn't the end of cinema. It's a challenge to evolve, to adapt, to remember what makes a story powerful in the first place. Because no matter the screen, big or small, the heart of cinema is still the same. A good story, told with vision, shared by people who care. So no, cinema isn't dying, it's transforming. And what comes next is up to us. Streaming didn't just change how we watch movies, it changed why they're made, how they're financed, and who gets paid. Before streaming, the film business was built around a clear structure. Make the movie, market the movie, release it in theaters, recoup the budget. Then make your profit in DVD sales, foreign licensing, and syndication. It was a long game. A movie could earn money for years. Now, a film gets bought by a streamer. It premieres. It trends for a week, maybe two. And then, it disappears into the algorithm. Welcome to the new model. In the streaming age, success isn't measured by box office or long-term sales. It's measured in watch time, clicks, engagement, retention. The film isn't the product, the viewer's attention is, and that shifts everything, from how movies are pitched to how they're written, cut, and marketed. Let's talk about the money. In traditional cinema, producers and filmmakers might earn from multiple revenue streams: theatrical runs, home video, DVD, Blu-ray sales, TV licensing, international rights, airline and hotel distribution, merchandising, and, if they had points, back-end profit participation. Now, streaming platforms often buy out the rights entirely. They pay an upfront fee, the filmmaker delivers the final product, and that's it. No long tail, no residuals for the crew, no profit share for indie teams, just a lump sum. And ownership goes to the platform, and for some, that's enough. The check clears. The film gets global exposure. But for others, especially independent filmmakers, it means surrendering creative legacy for short-term survival. It's why many creators today are rethinking their goals. Do you want visibility or ownership? Do you want the algorithm to push your film, or do you want to control where and how it lives? Because when you sell to a streamer, you're not just selling the story, you're selling the audience too. And streamers? They don't always share data. Most platforms don't release viewership numbers. You may never know how many people saw your film, or where, or when, or how long they watched. Imagine writing a book and never knowing how many people read it. That's the reality for filmmakers today. And for actors, writers, and crews, that lack of transparency has consequences. Residuals used to be a career lifeline, a way to survive between jobs. But in the streaming era, those checks have gotten smaller, or vanished completely. This is part of what fueled the Hollywood strikes. Writers and actors demanded not just better pay, but a seat at the table in a system where their work generates billions, and they see barely a slice. So what does success look like now? A traditional box office hit? A trending streamer title? A viral short on TikTok? The truth is, there's no single path anymore. But there's one pattern that's clear. The most powerful creators, the ones thriving in this new economy, are the ones who diversify. They make content and build audiences. They don't rely on just one platform. They crowdfund, self-release, build newsletters, run Patreon accounts, and partner with brands. They turn their films into ecosystems, not just products. In short, they treat filmmaking like a business. Because in the age of streaming, the filmmaker isn't just an artist. They're a creator, a brand, a strategist. And the film itself? It's just one chapter in a bigger story. So is traditional cinema dying? No, but the traditional business model might be. Scan to join the community.